The Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by these great sponsors. Are you looking to value your equipment more accurately, target the right buyers and close more deals, reach your ideal customer? Then look no further. Fusible isn't just about ag data, it's about action. Our best-in-class solution empowers you to value your equipment accurately, make informed decisions, and find the perfect prospects. Ignite your dealership's growth at fusible.com/movingiron-podcast. Out in the field, every decision counts. You wouldn't plant without testing your soil, so why would you prospect blind? Introducing EDA, your one-stop shop for ag equipment intel. EDA goes beyond specs and prices. You get deep dive data on every piece of equipment like UCC filings that help track ownership changes and uncover potential sales leads. D&B firmographics, which help you understand the financial health and buying power of potential customers. Market trends that help you stay ahead of the curve, and insights on equipment demands and pricings. With EDA, you're not just looking at data, you're seeing opportunity. Find the right buyer, sell smarter, and build lasting relationships. Visit edadata.com for your free demo and unlock the power of knowledge. For over 80 years, Iron Solutions has been your go-to data source for ag dealers, lenders, and manufacturers. Get powerful appraisal and value forecasting tools that fuel profitable decisions anytime, anywhere. Get your free demo at ironsolutions.com. Iron Solutions, confidence in every click. Today, there are many ways to finance ag equipment, but nobody delivers simple, fast, or flexible financing like AgDirect. Learn more about your options to buy, lease, and refinance equipment at agdirect.com. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours.
When you partner with Axon, you immediately gain access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. We carry all major brands and sizes of tires and wheels. We specialize in large diameter wheels for large equipment. We have one of the largest OEM replacement wheel inventories in North America. Known for extreme flotation setups, duals, and triples, we have wheels for all makes and models of tractors, sprayers, combines, and grain carts. If we don't have the wheel in stock, we'll custom build, sandblast, and paint in-house. There isn't a more vast inventory in North America dedicated to helping dealers move more iron. With facilities on the West Coast and in the heart of the Midwest, leverage our 230,000 square feet of indoor inventory to solve any problem a grower may have. Move more iron with Axon.
At Big Iron Auctions, customer satisfaction is our #1 goal. As the 40-year leader in auctions for agriculture, real estate, livestock, construction, and transportation, we are here to serve you. Big Iron will handle everything from start to finish. From meeting with you, to prepping your equipment, writing the listings, and collecting buyer's payments, let us do the heavy lifting for you. We love our customers, and we treat them like family. There's a Big Iron sales rep in your area, so let's get together. To learn more, visit bigiron.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving iron.
Once again, it's time for the Machine Shed. I respect what you've done in the combine world.
But when you step in this ring, you're messing with
Thayer and Fennel.
And that's something you don't do.
Yeah, you're on a different planet now.
You got your eyes locked on the world's most combine selling son of a...
Now I can't help it that I'm custom made. I can't help it that I look good, smell good, woo, can dance all night long. I can't help it.
The Nature Boy. Woo! Last year, Aaron Fiddle spent more money on spilt high guard in fields all over Box Butte County than you made. I'm talking about the cinch shirt wearing, sheep raising, kids still, woo, combine dealing, diesel driving, hay cutting, son of a gun. He's having a hard time keeping his ostrich boots on the ground. Woo!
Hey, what's rule number one? What's rule number one?
Party.
No, not party. No, it's not party.
The Moving Iron Podcast. Welcome back to the Machine Shed here. Got Aaron Fennell back on. We found some unsuspecting victims there at Husker Harvest Days to come talk about the product they got. Aaron, how you doing, bud?
Good.
Good, man. Good. Well, I'm excited about this. Aaron Fennell and I went to Husker Harvest Days, and we were walking around, and we were walking through the show, and in typical Aaron Fennell fashion, I saw that on blah blah blah, and he ran over there and was jumping all over it and couldn't wait to see it in real life, and ran into Trevor and over there, Trevor Hood and John Magnus at Ag Multitrailer, and long story short is I thought it was probably one of the most innovative things I saw at the show. Well, there's a lot of really innovative things there, but something that's simple that you're going to get a lot of use out of, pretty innovative wise. They put together a trailer that's not only a bell mover, but it's also a regular trailer, and you can either get the 53-foot version for your semi, or you can get the 35-foot gooseneck for your truck. And I saw that, and I was like, man, this is pretty impressive. This is one of those things. And of course, Aaron, Aaron being Aaron, he's like, oh, this thing's, I wish I had one of these for the sheep farm, 10 years from now, I'll be able to afford one, and that kind of thing. So,
Well, and that's what it was. I saw it on Facebook this summer while haying.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing that I do happens within 10 miles of home. So the machinery is hauled, and then you haul the hay home. Well, if only somebody made one trailer to just do it all.
That's right. Well, we got two guys that have done that. So, Trevor and John, appreciate you guys being on. Go ahead and introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about your company.
I'm John.
Nice to meet you guys.
Well, thank you. I'll kind of give you the history of this.
Okay.
We have a patent on this trailer, but I didn't have the original patent. I was hauling hay. I had, like most farmers, I had a flatbed trailer and I had a single row hay trailer, and did most of our hauling, or that's what we used. In most hay operations, it's hardly ever the guy baling hay doing the hauling. It's always grandma and grandpa or the wife or the kids. And in my case, it was my two daughters that did most of our hauling. And I had to buy some alfalfa. We can't grow it where we live, so we bought some, and I bought 36 bales about an hour and a half from home, and it took me a day and a half to get it hauled. And so the whole time I was hauling that hay, I kept thinking, man, I'd like to have a double row hay trailer. It would make things so simple, or so much easier and faster. But the problem is with us, like most people, we have about 35 mama cows, and we haul 200 or 300 bales a year, and that's really not enough to justify a specialized trailer that sits there all year and only hauls 2 rows of hay. So I looked on the internet and on YouTube, and I found the multi-trailer. And at that time, it was called the Herring Multi-Trailer. It was made in Canada. And so anyway, I did some research and went and looked at one. There was one in Oklahoma. One of their dealers in Wichita, Kansas, told me about it. And so I went and looked at it, and I wasn't very impressed. It was spring loaded. It was hard to lift, and I knew my wife and daughters couldn't handle it. And so I kind of wrote it off, and I had a friend with me, and several months later, he called me and said, hey, there's one of those trailers for sale on the internet in Ohio, but it's hydraulic. And so I called the guy that night and bought it over the phone, and it was made by a company called Ag Shield out of Canada. And I called them, about the trailer initially, and it was just way too expensive for me to justify, like when you guys looked at it, except it was a lot cheaper back then before COVID and all those things. And anyway, I kind of wrote it off, but I bought that used one. And when I was talking to the dealer in Wichita, Kansas, he had mentioned that the guy that owned the patent on that trailer was from up near Salina, and his last name was Herring. And so after I bought the trailer, I teach engineering in high school. And so I was curious about why they did some of the things that they did. And so I started calling people just randomly, and finally, with that last name, and finally found the guy, and we visited a little bit and had a few conversations over the phone about why things were the way they were and those kind of things. And a few weeks later, he called me and he said, "Hey, John, those guys in Canada haven't paid me any royalties in about 4 or 5 years. And if you wanted to buy the United States patent, I would sell it to you." And so, I told him that we'd pray about it, and we did. And I thought, I've lost more money by having bulls struck by lightning than this deal, because there wasn't a lot of that patent left. And so I decided to take a chance. And so we did. And I thought what I would do is I would just call different places and get bids on building the trailer for me. And nobody'd even talk to me. I mean, they were rude and they just hang up on you. And so anyway, one thing led to another, and we found a company that would make those trailers for us. And the original patent, we signed it in about 19. We started producing those trailers, a similar trailer to those, but it was very different. In January of 2020, we sold our first trailer. And that trailer kind of progressed and just kept making changes and finding better ways. But what the farmers told me in the beginning was, they said, "John, you got to do something to get rid of those ramps. They're way too heavy, the pull-out ramps in the back. We just can't deal with them. And even though you can haul stuff, we almost feel like keeping our old trailers because we don't want to deal with those ramps." So I started right away on designing a ramp, and we came out with our hydraulic flip-over ramp on the Dovetail in 21. And we filed for our preliminary patent in, I think, June of 21. And it was finally issued in 23. So we've had a patent on that, and the way a few other parts of that trailer run. The initial patent expired about the time our patent took over. And so that's kind of how I got started, and was in this deal. And I teach school full time. And, people asked me in the beginning, if they said, "I bet you want this to take off so you can quit teaching school." And I said, "Absolutely not. If I have to do anything, I'm going to hire somebody to do what I can't do, because teaching school is my passion, and it's my ministry, and it's my lifelong calling." And so that's where Trevor come in. Trevor is a highly certified welder and a fabricator. He's got a really good engineering type mind. And so as we were making some changes to the trailer over time, I recognized his talent and his skill, and I've known his family for a long time. We went to church together. I coached him in ninth grade football. And so we had a history, and I knew his character. And so that's why here a year or so ago, I asked Trevor if he wanted to go partners in this deal and see what kind of good we could do with it. And so that's what we did. We have a partnership in our fabrication business. It's called J3T Fabrication. And we're in the process now of switching over from Magnus Equipment LLC to J3T Equipment. And what that stands for is, I'm John, my wife is Julie, his wife is Julia, and of course Trevor. So we got 3 J's and a T. And my wife is a retired accountant, and his wife is a highly acclaimed marketing executive, if you will, at a local firm, and does a great job on some big accounts. And so the 4 of us putting our knowledge and skills together, we think is going to make this thing go way bigger than it would have ever been with me just trying to run it while I'm teaching school. And so I think that answers your question. If there's something I left out, just let me know. Let me introduce you to the Ag Multitrailer. It is a 3-row hay trailer that is also an extremely heavy built flat deck designed specifically for ag use. It has a tall gooseneck that will not crush the sides of your truck bed when crossing rough terrain. It has a heavy-duty 19-pound I-beam frame, semi-truck suspension, up to 12,000-pound axles, 18-ply tires, and it also has 40,800 pounds of spring under each axle. It's completely hydraulic and even has a hydraulic dovetail.
Basis there, man, on what you got going on there. All right, Fiddle, what's your questions, man? Let her rip, buddy.
So I noticed on that trailer, it was this spring, this summer, something like that, when I saw that video on Facebook and started following the Facebook page and really paying attention to that trailer. The everything on that trailer, I noticed at Husker Harvest Days, is hydraulic. Is that right? Is that an upgrade, or is that just how it comes? It's all electric over hydraulic, and that's the trailer.
The many parts of that trailer that work have always been hydraulic since I took over. And what Mr. Herring told me was he designed it to be hydraulic, but when he made the deal with Ag Shield in Canada, they wanted to cut out the cost of the hydraulics. And so they went to a spring-loaded setup, and he went up there, and, I mean, his own words, what he told me was he didn't think they ever got it right. He spent as much time as he could. When he left, he didn't feel confident in it. So his advice to me was keep it hydraulic. Now, there were a few options, like we put a hydraulic motor on the jacks. Instead of doing a true hydraulic jack, we put a motor on there so that if your battery's dead or whatever, you can take a pin out of one side and put it in the other, and you can still use your hand crank. That used to be an option, but what we found was almost everybody wanted it, and the guys that didn't would call me a week later and want me to ship it to them, ship them the setup. And then they had to install it. So we just added in the price of the trailer and, put that option on there. So everything for the most part is hydraulic. And what wasn't initially we put on there was, we thought in the beginning, I've always been conscious. When we started, when I called Ag Shield in Canada, their price on the trailer was $23,000 in Canada. And we started producing them in 2020 and the price was $16,000. Because I've worked hard the whole time to keep the price of that trailer as low as we could. One thing is we don't have dealers. I knew that going in. I told my wife, I said, we're going to have to sell these trailers, because if we have to add a dealer commission and they're going to cost so much, nobody's going to want it. And I felt guilty asking $16,000 for them. And the other part was I had a guy from Dallas, Texas call me and want to buy the Texas, Oklahoma region to sell those trailers and market them. But he said, if we make this deal, you're going to have to go up in the price so I can make my commission. And I said, well, I don't think that'll work. And he said, you're mistaken. He said, those trailers are way too cheap. And I didn't believe him. And I turned him down on the deal just because I wanted to keep the price down. And now look at the price of the trailers. They're almost $32,000 for a base trailer. I mean, part of that was COVID and inflation. Part of it was just improvements we kept making that we felt were worth it. Like the dovetail trailer, that increased the price $3,000 just right off the bat right there. And then when we went up, we went to a different axle and suspension setup. It has the semi suspension, the hutch suspension like you see on a semi truck. Each axle has 40,800 pounds of spring under it. Because for me, designing a trailer to pull 3 rows of round bales over a terrace in a field, that's a different challenge than trying to design a trailer to be as light as possible to go down the interstate, for like a hotshot driver. It's a different thing altogether.
Right.
And so I hope that answers your question.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know, just little things about it that I like so much, that it is all hydraulic. It doesn't get much simpler and easier to use than that. And when it's all the way unfolded, it's truly, there's no ridge anywhere. Like, it is level flat all the way across the top. I expected, at a hinge there to be a couple inches or something like that, but I was really impressed how flat it folds, because in our world out here, the bales are going to get hauled endwise out, and either 2 and 4 or 2 and 1. So I was looking at it. My eyes look at it from that standpoint versus the tubular hauling, and even from the flat side out hauling, I guess I'd call it, hauling it that way. It's blew me away just from that standpoint. I didn't even realize you guys built it to be linear hauling?
So as far as when it's folded flat, there's still there's two 2-inch tubes running down the middle of the trailer, and they're 3/16 wall 2-inch square tube on the inside of the centers that raise up. And the purpose of that is when you're hauling hay, if you've got older hay with a flat spot in it or something that doesn't want to roll off the trailer, you can push it. And so that's the only high point. And
okay.
I mean, we've hauled quite a bit of stuff on them, and I've never had it be an issue as far as it not being perfectly flat. It's a 1-inch raise, and then it drops right back down. And then as far as like the hydraulics being, I always say it's about 95% hydraulic, but all the heavy lifting's done. And so you might have a pin or a slide latch or something to move around, but anything that requires any real effort is hydraulic. So it makes it a little friendly for everyone to use.
What do you need out of, like on the semi model? Any truck can do it, right? You don't have to have a wet kit or anything like that, correct?
It's a standalone. We're looking at an option for an add-on wet kit, but it'll still have a standalone unit. And so the wet kit will be optional, an optional add-on, but even when it's on there, it'll still be an option. So you could still hook onto it with a truck that doesn't have a wet kit and still operate it.
Okay. How'd you come up with that color? That's a very vibrant blue.
Yeah, that's not their normal blue color. That was one of my questions. Yeah.
Well, I asked Mr. Herring when I signed that original contract if we could change the color because blue's not my favorite color.
Right.
But he said he started with blue. I thought it was being a Kansas person, Kansas blue or something. He said, no, that had nothing to do with it. He just tried to pick a color that was the least popular color in trailers so that it would stick out.
And then I wondered if that maybe wasn't it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he built a few trailers like that. And then the guys in Canada continued that. And I wanted to make it maroon because that's my favorite color. But he told me, he said, I don't really care, but I think it's a mistake if you change it, do what you like. And when I brought that first trailer home, I told several of my friends about it, and they just had a hard time wrapping their mind around what it was and how it worked. And so a few of them come over to the house, and a few days later, one of them called me, and I was at school, and he said, hey, can I borrow your trailer today? I need to go get a tractor or whatever. And I said, sure. Well, we live in a real small town. But before he could make it through town, two of those other guys saw him go through town, and they called me and said, somebody just stole your trailer. And so I knew right away that people aren't used to seeing blue trailers. And now it's like the John Deere green. It's like a staple. And then when I signed the contract, Pisano Trailers started to make them for us. And they said, now, one thing to keep the cost down, we can't change colors up. We're going to have to buy this paint in large quantities to keep the cost. And I said, okay, that's fine. And now people ask me every once in a while, can we get it in black or can we get it in whatever? And I said, well, call John Deere and see if they'll make you a black, or a blue one or whatever, so it's kind of become a joke. But now, the funny part is people never remember the trailer. They couldn't remember Herring Multitrailer. And we had, at some point in the middle, we had a marketing firm kind of courting us and asking us, to hire them to do our marketing for them. And one of the things when they gave us their briefing, they told us right off the bat, we need to change the name because they ran it through some kind of computer. And they said, that is absolutely one of the hardest names to remember. You got to come up with something better. And so when Herring's patent ran out and we changed it up, it was no longer his deal. So I changed it to the Ag Multitrailer. And I probably shouldn't have done that. I should have found a better thing or had a contest to have somebody come up with something other than ag. But it was simple and common because it's an agriculture trailer. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how that deal went through. But the funny thing is even today, people call me. I get calls every day, and I return them when I get out of school typically. But they'll say, are you the guy with the blue hay trailers? They don't remember ag. They didn't remember Herring, but they do remember blue. So that's one reason we've stuck with the blue.
There you go. I couldn't remember the name for the life of me. I tried looking on Facebook, and I even typed in blue hay trailer.
There you go. You guys go buy those. Start tagging that there Blue Hay trailer.
There you go.
In your stuff there. So yeah. When you guys started doing this, John, taking a look back at where you went through, what were some of the biggest struggles you went through bringing the product to market the way you wanted to bring it to market and making the changes you went through? What were some of the biggest hurdles you had to overcome?
Well, there's been a few more prominent than others, but I will tell you that this has been a God thing from the beginning. And I still ask myself someday why. I have people ask me, why I did this. It's not like I needed something else to do with teaching school full time. And, I coached the robotics team and we farm and bale hay, and I had plenty to do. But God just put it on my heart and gave me peace in this deal. And he's kind of just laid this thing out from the beginning. One of the things that we had, another company has a patent on a hydraulic dovetail. And they tried to put some pressure on us to get rid of our dovetail. And, that was probably one of the things I lost the most sleep over. And that's when Trevor came along. But we worked hard, and I have a very, very good attorney firm out of Oklahoma City. They do all the attorney work for like Ditch Witch and Toro Mowers and some really big people in the game. And so this other company is one of the biggest ones, and they came at us, and those guys, it took us about 4 months to convince them that our patent didn't infringe on their patent, and they kind of, backed off. But when it first started, I thought, God, what is going on here? I feel like, this is going to be something that's going to be substantial, and we came through it. But as far as the marketing, I feel bad that it takes us so long. We've always had a waiting list. We've never had a trailer show up to this date that wasn't sold before it got here. There's always been a waiting list. And so the marketing has kind of grown through Facebook and some other stuff and word of mouth. We have, a lot of customers they're on their fourth trailer now. Every time we come up with another trailer, they want the newest and latest and greatest. And like that semi trailer that we had at Husker Harvest Days, that guy's had 3 goosenecks. And so when he called and said, okay, put me on the list for a semi, I said, do you want me to help you sell your gooseneck? And he said, no, I'm going to need them both. And so the marketing, the parts that you think would struggle most businesses, that part's been laid out. But just some of the design stuff, and we've tried some things that, work sometimes and sometimes they don't. We have to back up and kind of go at it. Trevor has spent a lot of late nights, thinking and working and, in the shop trying things, late night phone calls talking about ways we could make that work even better or fix what didn't work, find another solution to it.
Yeah.
So the sorry, Casey.
No, go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead.
The semi trailer is that new this year then?
Yes.
The gooseneck was actually the start of it.
Do what?
The gooseneck was first, and the semi trailer is that new this year then?
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
We've got the 32-foot gooseneck, which is by far the most popular. And we've sold 2, I think, 27-footers. We've got some 40s and 42s out there that are all gooseneck. And then obviously we've got the step deck, which is a 53.5 or 54.5 or 53. And then we're working now on doing a miniature step deck, which will be for like a 2-ton truck or a bobtail semi. And it'll be basically come out to about a 42-footer. So it would be like a 32-foot gooseneck, but it'll have a step on the front of it so you can use the front section. And it'd be a little much for a pickup, but for guys that don't have a real big semi, or you can buy those little bobtail semis super cheap.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's we think it'll be a pretty big hit for a lot of people.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I know a guy's got one of those bobtail semis.
Yep.
And what I found is I tell everybody all the time that you typically run out of truck before you run out of trailer. These trailers are way overbuilt and they're heavy. The way the frame is designed is way different than a normal trailer. Typically, I've never seen another trailer, and I've owned several. And every time I see another trailer, I look under it to see. But the way our frame is designed is different than any one I've seen. I'm not saying there's not one like it, but our trailers don't twist up typically. So what happens is guys will buy them and plan on, pulling them with their 1 ton or 3/4 ton or whatever. And they realize how much hay they can haul. Pretty soon their truck isn't enough and they end up within a year having a bobtail.
Right.
But what we found is a lot of those bobtails are old Coke trucks. The older ones will have like a 5.9 Cummins in them or a 6.7. So really you got the same motor, the same horsepower. So they don't, when you're just getting in, and I didn't realize it in the beginning that there's a difference between one of those type single axles and then a real single axle that has a big motor. And so like those bigger ones will pull these loaded with no trouble. Just learning from my customers, explaining that to me, we knew when we jumped in and bought ours just to move our trailers around. And this year when we baled hay, Trevor and the guys, they hauled it with a semi, and it handles a full loaded semi way good. It has a 14-liter Detroit in it as opposed to like a 6.7. So this other trailer, I think, is going to be a perfect fit for those guys that don't want to do that. They can pull this short step deck with those semis and have the advantage of the brakes and all of the control and those things. So we think it's going to be a win-win. We'll see what everybody thinks when we get the first one going.
And I've actually been thinking about that big semi-trailer ever since I seen it at the show. And the 40, 42, whatever you want to call it. I think the strong part with that is getting in and out of fields, pasture gates, all that kind of stuff behind a regular semi, just because 53 is a bear to get in and out of a lot of driveways.
If you don't have a single axle truck, you're not going to get that in anywhere tight. I'll promise you that.
Exactly. So I could see that 42 just blowing up, like you guys were saying. On my operation, I used to have a bobtail because I had a gas burner 1 ton, went to a diesel pickup. That's fine and good. And then eventually you're back to the truck. So I think that 42, that could be a big, big deal.
Yeah. I think a lot of people move that way. The investment is a lot smarter on a $10,000 or $15,000 semi or an $85,000 pickup that you're going to wear out in a year.
Right.
Yeah. It's a win-win.
All the modern diesel pickups, they'll pull 8 times what they can stop. So that's where the big truck is not.
Yep. So last question I got for you guys. We're a couple of used equipment guys, and we're dorks about used equipment business when it comes to values and those kind of things. You don't have dealerships, right? So if I buy one of your trailers and I want to go sell my trailer, or I want to upgrade and I want to get rid of the one I've got, what's that market look like, and how are you guys helping customers get rid of their used trailers?
Someone's interested if they've got a used trailer. A lot of guys will want to get rid of them. So like John was saying, they can get a newer one. We've got a spot on our website that will list it for them. But we just basically direct customers to them. That way, we're not making anything on someone else's used trailer.
Right.
If somebody wants the newer one, they set their price or ask us where they think the fair market's at on it. And it just depends on what generation it is, what kind of shape it's in, what options it had. And so when the price is figured up, we'll post it. Occasionally you'll see them on Facebook, but we don't, we kind of just let them handle it. And if they want our help, we'll put it on our website and direct people there. And that's about as far as that goes.
Yeah. And they've held their value really, really well. When we came out with the ramp trailer, a lot of those guys with pull-out ramps sold their trailers for more than what they paid.
I'm sure.
Trevor and I we had to go to Missouri to meet with a guy about some YouTube marketing. And so we had a guy in Missouri on the waiting list for another trailer, and a guy in Texas that has one of our trailers and wanted another one. So we put those two together. He saw it on our website and he bought it. And that trailer new was like, with all the options, was right at 18,000. This guy's used it for 4 years and he sold it for 17. I mean, I think that's a pretty good deal.
I feel like
there's one on Facebook now for 25, and that's probably not very far off from what he paid brand new, in the escalation of the prices and those things. So they hold their value really well to answer that. But, in that series, a lot of guys, when they get in, they want one of those used trailers, but they'll get it. And then when their new one's ready, they'll upgrade again or whatever. And so we've helped probably 20 or 25 people through our website sell their pull-out ramp trailers in order to get, the hydraulic flip-over ramp trailer. And that's worked really good so far.
Gotcha.
And as far as some of the generational changes, like obviously the newest version's the best we've come up with yet. That's why it's the newest generation.
Right.
But, we just posted something on Facebook the other day of one of the Gen 1 trailers that's still getting after it, hauling hay like crazy. The biggest thing that everyone wants to upgrade for is the ramp. The hydraulic ramp, like we talked about, it's gone through a couple iterations, but it's pretty bulletproof at this point, gone through some pretty extensive changes from the very first one. And I think that that's probably one of the most attractive things and why a lot of people want to get rid of their older versions, is most of them specifically so they can get that ramp.
Yeah. They say that the average age of the farmer now is 66 this year or something. And, guys in that age range either can't handle those heavy ramps. And, for us as a designer, that was a challenge in the beginning. Do you make a light ramp that everybody can handle, but then bends? Or do you make it heavy so that it's bulletproof? And then they have a problem with it. And so, of course, we always lean towards over fabricating everything. Yeah. We get calls all the time, where people make, when somebody puts a post on, like one of the groups on Facebook, somebody will make the comment or send me a message, or Trevor, and they'll say, well, can't you make that thing any lighter? And, our answer is, well, sure, we can make it light just like everybody else does. We can cut a lot of cost out of it. But is it going to hold up? Is it going to be bulletproof when you start torturing it? And
then
that's our main thing. Is if we're going to err, we're going to err on the side of making it overbuilt and tough.
Because people are going to tear it up.
Yeah, you know how farmers are. That one, if you go to our Facebook page, you guys might have already been there, but you saw that was one of our Gen 1 trailers that had 3 7,000-pound axles. And I think that guy was bragging on putting 38 big square bales on it. Or something, those things are probably 800 to 1,000 pounds a piece, I guess, because they look like alfalfa. So, that trailer is just absolutely tortured.
Yep.
That's what they're for.
Yeah. And there, it's another thing too in the world that we live in today, where people are, price conscious, but you get what you pay for, right?
Right.
And honestly, when I was talking to you guys at Husker, and I was looking at that 53-foot trailer sitting there, I'm thinking you go out and buy a detached trailer or something like that, or another step deck trailer with a dovetail in the back like that, you're well over $100,000, even $150,000 to get something new like that. And when you told me it was half that price, I was like, man, you guys sure you want to do that? Because you sure about that?
Yeah. And, everybody wants to compare your trailer to the cheapest one they've heard of.
Sure.
But if you look at other quality goosenecks and you pair, like I looked right before we got to Husker, I was looking, I don't know if I can say this on there, but I think probably the best trailer made is a Diamond C. I had one of their goosenecks before I got my first blue trailer. And I looked on there, and their price of a 32-foot wood deck trailer with a hydraulic dovetail and no hydraulic jacks or anything else was more than ours. So if you're comparing quality to quality, I think you got to think that ours is worth the money.
And not just quality to quality, but functionality to functionality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the other side of it, is that what impressed me so much about your guys' trailer was that it wasn't just a flat deck trailer that had, I could strap some bells to and I could throw it was designed to haul bells, and it was designed to haul my skid steer and my tractor too. I mean, that's exactly what it was done. So I'm not having to like throw a million straps on something and hope to God that I got it down right. And I've got it where it's designed to do those things. And I think to me, that's the biggest selling point.
It's easily replaces 2 trailers.
100%. 100%.
At least.
Yeah. And, the sales pitch that I'll just tell you when people walk up to talk to me or they call me for the first time, it's a trailer. You can haul your tractor to the field or your skid steer and you can unload it. And within a minute, you can be hauling 3 rows of round bales.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you go pick up your skid steer, your tractor, and you never unhook. And that's pretty good. Yeah. And, this trailer brings some things to the table. I tell everybody, if it were only a flatbed, I think it would be the best flatbed on the market. And this is the reason. That deck is pretty much indestructible. It's way stronger than wood. Yeah. It's self-cleaning. It doesn't puddle water, rain, snow, or ice. The other thing is, besides being all of those things, you can strap or chain your load down to it anywhere you want. Right. And once you use one of these trailers and you do that, like for instance, when I haul a big tractor or a skid steer, whatever, I run the chains down through the deck and bring them up around the I-beam and winch them down there. And once you do that, and then you load something on a wood deck trailer, and all you have is a stake pocket on the side that only has a weld down one side of that stake pocket, right away when you think about it, that if I get in a wreck, it's going to tear them stake pockets off like a ribbon. And so that gives you a lot of peace of mind that anywhere I want, I can chain or strap something down. That's huge. And that's what our customers tell us is they get used to that. And that's huge. But then when you think about those sides, they'll go straight up or straight down. And when you get used to hauling things with those sides up, that gives you a huge peace of mind that whatever's on there, whether it's pallets or totes or skid steer, whatever it is, when I get there, it's probably, if it's going somewhere, it's coming off the back. It's not going off the sides. And that gives you a lot of peace of mind. And then when you, like I said, you go to haul something on a wood deck trailer with stake pockets and you're looking like, man, there's something missing here because you don't have those sides. You just feel naked. And then when you look at it as a hay trailer, it brings a lot to the market. It's the only double row hay trailer that you can haul a third row on if you want. It's the only double row hay trailer on the market that you can dump one side at a time. All of the other ones that I know of, when you pull in the lot, they both got to go at once or it'll flip over. Yeah. And so ours is built so stable that you can pull in, dump one side, do a U-turn and come back and dump the other. And when you think about time savings, that's huge. Because all the other ones, even though you don't have to unload them, you still have to get on the tractor and move all of that hay off to the side to be able to get out the gate. Or if you don't, you're going to have hay scattered over 40 acres around your barn at home that you have to restack. And so when you think about bringing that to the market, that's a pretty neat deal. And I think the last part of that, our trailer as a hay trailer, is it's the only one on the market with adjustable sides. So you adjust the cradle to the size of hay you're hauling. And so all the other ones have a set size cradle. So if you haul a big bale, like a 6-foot bale, it doesn't fit in the cradle. Or if you have silage bales on and you put them in there, then they're rolling around, swinging you all over the place when you're driving. Right. In ours, you set that side so that it's just right so that the bales touch down the middle and you're as narrow as possible coming through gates or going down the highway. And so I think all of those things bring a lot to the table when it comes to the functionality of that trailer. But that's just me. I wish we had some of our customers you could talk to and they could kind of tell you what they think. But since we started, I think we've sold close to 240 trailers now in not quite 5 years, which is pretty amazing. When I signed the first contract with Mr. Herring, he said, now the guys in Canada, they had to make 12 a year. And sometimes they struggled, but I'm just letting you know that your contract, you're going to have to make 20. And I thought to myself, well, if they couldn't sell 12, what makes me think I couldn't sell 20? That's a lot. That's a big increase percentage wise.
Yeah.
And so I thought about it and I thought, I've got plenty to do. If we can't sell 20 trailers a year, I'm okay. Well, our first year we sold 54, and I think the second year we sold 68.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is kind of spoke for itself. But out of all those trailers, you very rarely hear somebody that ever says anything bad or derogatory about them. Usually, the post, when somebody's asked about one on one of the hay groups on Facebook or whatever, all of my customers, they just go to bat. They jump in there and start talking about, what a game changer it is and how great it was. And, all of these things. And I'll be the first one to tell you, it's not perfect. There's still things we're working on and things that it might not be the best at, but I think it's the best there is now.
Definitely think it's the best purchase as far as that realm goes, because you're filling so many needs, and it's great at a lot of things. And there's some things that may not be perfect at, but it's going to fill so many. It's going to answer so many questions that, like y'all were saying earlier, you're getting rid of 2 trailers to replace it with one. It's less wear and tear, less maintenance. It's going to save tons and tons of time, and nothing's indestructible, especially when people are loading it twice as much as it needs to be loaded. But that's why it's built the way it is.
I think it can do pretty much everything except haul dirt.
Or cows. I don't know if you saw that post. Somebody put one here lately. You need to build a box to winch on top of it so that you can haul cows.
For the salt trailer?
Yeah.
I'll put your cows on there, yeah.
There you go.
For sure.
I'll put that in our suggestion box. Dirt.
We are working on something that you're going to like. It's coming. We filed quite a bit of patent work here lately on some ideas that Trevor's had or that we've had together that we think if we can get the patents issued on them, it'll be worth the investment to try to bring those to the market. And we just bought a new facility this last year. We're just moved in here in the last 30 days. We have a full fabrication place and a really nice shop now to do some of this prototype work and some things that hopefully will just keep on making this brand grow.
That's awesome. And I'll be interested to see what happens when you guys are ready to announce that. I'd love to have you back on to come on and talk about what you're doing there. So look forward to that. Right on. Well, you guys, I appreciate you being on. Trevor and John, if you guys want to reach out to you and get more information about the trailer or want to purchase one, what's the easiest way to do that?
If you go to our website, Ag Multitrailer, it's got our phone number and our email on there. And you can call or email us, do whatever you want to do there as far as contacting us. There's a quote form on there you can fill out and option out the trailer however you want, just to kind of see prices. And I say you can print those out so you can have a couple different options, just compare them back and forth. And when you send in a quote like that, it'll email us. And so if you want to get reached out to, we can do that and answer any questions anyone's got.
And that's agmultitrailer.com, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And our Facebook page is Ag Multitrailer also.
Right on. And or hashtag Blue Hay Trailer and just keep that out there, right? Okay. Right on.
We're getting some more videos and instructional stuff out on YouTube for people to look into as we're trying to kind of build that market up too.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys will get to know if you follow us here before too long. You'll get to meet Travis. He's in Missouri. He's getting ready to retire out of the Army. He has a big YouTube following, and he called me and told me that our YouTube channel wasn't. He didn't say it this nice, but said it wasn't up to stuff. But he would help us if he could. So he was at Husker Harvest Days. You might have saw him walking around there. He made a really great hand, and he's a believer in the trailers and very passionate about them. So he's going to bring our YouTube marketing up to snuff, hopefully here pretty soon. And that's going to be exciting because I think you guys will like Travis as well.
That's awesome. Look forward to meeting him.
Good.
Sounds good. Well, guys, appreciate you being on. Any final thoughts you want to throw out there about the trailers or anything else you got out there?
I can't think of anything. We've talked a lot.
No, I think you guys did a great job. Appreciate you being on. Aaron, folks want to reach out to you. What's the easiest way to do that?
Call or text 308-760-1193, or pretty active on Facebook and Twitter, both by my name, Aaron Findale.
Right on. Casey Seymour, you can find me at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. Go to LinkedIn and Moving Iron Podcast. Check out the YouTube version of this over at the YouTube channel, which is Moving Iron Podcast YouTube channel. And you can also go to movingironllc.com for everything Moving Iron related. Guys, appreciate you being on. It was great. Like I said, I thought it was one of the most innovative things I saw at the at Husker Harvest, just from the functionality of it. And I saw some pretty innovative things out there. So, guys, my hat's off to you guys, and I wish you the best of luck as you roll through the rest of 24 into 25.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for having us. We really appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Is brought to you by these great sponsors. Are you looking to value your equipment more accurately, target the right buyers, and close more deals? Reach your ideal customer? Then look no further. Fusible isn't just about ag data, it's about action. Our best-in-class solution empowers you to value your equipment accurately, make informed decisions, and find the perfect prospects. Ignite your dealership's growth at fusible.com/movingiron-podcast. Out in the field, every decision counts. You wouldn't plant without testing your soil, so why would you prospect blind? Introducing EDA, your one-stop shop for ag equipment intel. EDA goes beyond specs and prices. You get deep dive data on every piece of equipment, like UCC filings that help track ownership changes and uncover potential sales leads. D&B firmographics, which help you understand the financial health and buying power of potential customers. Market trends that help you stay ahead of the curve, and insights on equipment demands and pricings. With EDA, you're not just looking at data, you're seeing opportunity. Find the right buyer, sell smarter, and build lasting relationships. Visit edadata.com for your free demo and unlock the power of knowledge. For over 80 years, Iron Solutions has been your go-to data source for ag dealers, lenders, and manufacturers. Get powerful appraisal and value forecasting tools that fuel profitable decisions anytime, anywhere. Get your free demo at ironsolutions.com. Iron Solutions, confidence in every click. Today, there are many ways to finance ag equipment, but nobody delivers simple, fast, or flexible financing like AgDirect. Learn more about your options to buy, lease, and refinance equipment at agdirect.com. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours.
When you partner with Axon, you immediately gain access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. We carry all major brands and sizes of tires and wheels. We specialize in large diameter wheels for large equipment. We have one of the largest OEM replacement wheel inventories in North America. Known for extreme flotation setups, duals, and triples, we have wheels for all makes and models of tractors, sprayers, combines, and grain carts. If we don't have the wheel in stock, we'll custom build, sandblast, and paint in-house. There isn't a more vast inventory in North America dedicated to helping dealers move more iron. With facilities on the West Coast and in the heart of the Midwest, leverage our 230,000 square feet of indoor inventory to solve any problem a grower may have. Move more iron with Axon.
At Big Iron Auctions, customer satisfaction is our #1 goal. As the 40-year leader in auctions for agriculture, real estate, livestock, construction, and transportation, we are here to serve you. Big Iron will handle everything from start to finish. From meeting with you, to prepping your equipment, writing the listings, and collecting buyer's payments, let us do the heavy lifting for you. We love our customers, and we treat them like family. There's a Big Iron sales rep in your area, so let's get together. To learn more, visit bigiron.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. moving iron.
On.